In the modern world, only 10 people have ever officially reached a height of 8 feet. In September 2009, Sultan Kösen from Turkey became the 11th. He is 8'1" and currently the world's tallest man, 1 in 6 billion.
When he was first announced as the tallest man in the world, it was a huge boost of confidence for him.
With this title came the attention of the world. But Sultan desires more than just fame. He has been a single man his entire life. And now there's only one thing he wants, and that's a true love.
I want to find a wife.
Sultan's dream will take him across the world, and for the first time he will meet someone who understands his condition firsthand, a man almost as tall as he. But Sultan's 8-foot body continues to grow.
You're actually getting taller.
Threatening his life.
It will continue to take its toll on his body. The worst is the effect on the heart.
This is the story of the world's tallest man and his fight for survival as he searches for love. Sultan Kösen is 27 years old, and his life began in a rural village in southeast Turkey. At 8 years old, Sultan began growing uncontrollably, and by his teenage years, he was well over 7 feet. His size marked him as different, and Sultan spent much of his time in isolation.
Yani topluma çıkamıyordum, insanlar arasına çıkamıyorum. Yani çıktığım zaman topluma çıkamıyordum. Yani bir yerlere gidemiyordum. Yani çocukluğumu yaşayamadım.
But Sultan looked beyond his lonely existence, and with his family's help, applied for the Guinness World Records title of the world's tallest man. On September 17, 2009, at an unveiling ceremony in London, the Guinness World Records confirmed that at 8'1", Sultan Kösen was the world's tallest man. From this point on, the shy outcast became front-page news, and Sultan Kösen's life was transformed. He left his quiet village to travel the world, and TV appearances, photo shoots, and fame followed. Kelly Garrett from the Guinness World Records, a fluent Turkish speaker, became his advocate and close friend as she guided him through these new experiences.
I first met Sultan in February of 2009. He had applied for the title of the tallest man in the world. When I first saw him, he was very quiet, and I was really interested in what the person was like.
Although Sultan's life has changed beyond any of his expectations, he holds the same simple desires he had before his introduction to the world stage.
İşim olsun, yani kendime göre bir hayat arkadaşım olsun, yani fazla yeter bana.
Sultan has always been self-conscious about his body, but with new confidence since becoming the world's tallest man, he is able to visit a Turkish bath. The massages they offer relieve much of the stress his muscles must endure supporting an 8-foot frame. Sultan's feet are 14.3 inches long, the largest in the world. His hands measure 10.8 inches, the longest in the world. At the last official measuring, Sultan was over 8 foot and 1 inch, the first man in 20 years to be recognized by the Guinness World Records as over 8 feet tall.
Çok güzel, süper.
Sultan's excessive height is caused by a rare medical condition affecting the pituitary gland at the base of his brain.
Mr. Kösen has a condition called gigantism. It's a tumor in the pituitary producing too much growth hormone. The best thing to imagine where it is by putting your finger at the bridge of your nose and in the middle of your temple and drawing 2 lines. And where those 2 lines come together, where they intersect, there's a little gland hanging off of the brain.
But gigantism not only causes excessive height,
The worst is the effect on the heart. The heart can enlarge, the heart can become thickened, the muscle can, and people can actually develop heart failure at a very young age.
Yaşından sonra hep hastanelerde ilaç tedavisi, ameliyat, doktor, işte hastane. Artık bunlardan biraz ürperdim, yani boyumun böyle uzun olmasını isterdim tabii ki. Yeter ki sağlık sorunları olmasın.
even though he is only 27. Sultan's condition means he is unable to walk without crutches.
Just watching him walking with walking sticks at his age shows the effect of all the excessive bone growth. He's had a knee replacement already. And those are things that happen to people with much older skeletons, people in their 50s and 60s and 70s.
But this hasn't stopped Sultan from wanting to live a normal life.
Yani bence benim gözümde her şey normal ama insanların gözünde bana bakarsanız fark çıkıyor ortaya.
When he was first announced as the tallest man in the world, it was a huge boost of confidence for him. But the most important thing for him and the forefront of his mind is to find a wife.
I think he very tall. We are too small. He's good.
Finding a woman attracted to an 8-foot-tall man is something Sultan has struggled for his entire adult life. Ankara, the capital of Turkey, some 700 miles from the village where he grew up. When he officially became the world's tallest man, Sultan was honored by the Turkish Prime Minister, and the Turkish government provided him with an apartment.
Yeni evime hoş geldiniz.
The move away from his village to Ankara is vital, as it gives Sultan the access he needs to specialist medical facilities.
Yani Allah'ıma binlerce kere şükürler olsun, artık Ankara'da bir evim var.
When Sultan moved from his village, he left behind his parents, 3 brothers and a sister. And without his family and friends around him, his desire for a partner intensifies.
Yatak odamı göstereyim. Yatağımın ölçüsü 3 metre, uzunluğu 1.60 genişliği. Oh! Güzel. Evet, yani koskocaman dünyanın en büyük yatağıyla tek başına yatmak çok zor. Hele ki bir hayat arkadaşın, eşin olacak, yatağını paylaşacaksın, içini paylaşacaksın.
But not everything in Sultan's new home is designed to accommodate his excessive height.
Şurada duşakabin vardı. Sığmadığım için duşakabini söktürdüm. Şimdi burada oturarak güzel bir duş alıyorum. O biçim yani. Ama ne yazık ki lavabolar ufak geliyor. Şurada olması lazım. Ayna şurada olması lazım.
Tomorrow, Sultan will be traveling to London to be remeasured for the Guinness World Records. His older brothers are paying him a visit before he leaves, and Sultan takes them shopping to Ankara city centre. Being over 8 feet tall means constant attention, and people immediately notice Sultan.
To be the tallest person in the world may bring some notoriety, but I'm not sure it's always welcome, and not everyone wants to be different.
Crowds are already beginning to gather.
Tabii bu ayakkabı bulmak benim için zor yani. Yani ne demişler? Umduğunu değil, bulduğunu. Bulduğunu giyiyoruz biz de yani.
Threats to his health aside, one of Sultan's biggest problems is finding clothing and shoes to fit his massive body.
Bu şu anda elimizde olan en büyük numara.
Bakıyor. Benim taraklarım geniş.
Sultan never owned a pair of shoes that fitted properly until he was 25 years old.
Kesinlikle girer.
The shoes that he did wear damaged his feet and severely impaired his ability to walk. Even the biggest shoes in the store aren't even close to his size 28 feet.
Ayakkabıcıda ölçü veriyorum ama hiç güzel olmuyordum. Çürük malzemeden yapıldığı için hepsi yara oluyordu, yani mahvoluyordu.
Sultan has failed to find anything in his size. The huge crowd that has now gathered in the mall also makes it difficult for him to continue shopping. It's now time for the multitude of photo opportunities as the public recognizes him as the world's tallest man.
Bu insanların bana duyarlı bir şekilde yaklaşmasını seviyorum. Ama bazı yerlerde de çok abartıyorlar. Yani bu biraz beni sıkıyor.
Sultan hopes that all the attention may help him achieve his greatest desire.
The thing that Sultan is longing for most is to have a relationship with someone, and that was something that he had never had, and it's something over the last year has come to the fore a lot more.
Teşekkür ederim.
Yani zor. Ben farklı olduğum için yani insanlar nedense pek sıcak yaklaşmıyor bana ama inanıyorum ki bulacağım ben hayatımın kadını aşkını bulacağım.
But love isn't Sultan's only concern. A tumor has imprisoned him in an 8-foot body, and despite surgery, doctors are unsure if it is still affecting his growth. Tomorrow, Sultan has an appointment at Hacettepe University's medical school, where his health is monitored on a regular basis. These checkups are crucial, as doctors have not yet determined if the tumor causing Sultan's excessive height is still present. Dr. Alpar Gerlek first met Sultan in 2008, after previous treatments had failed to stop him from growing.
He was very tall compared to his counterparts when he was 7 or 8 years old. And then they discovered a pituitary tumor.
Sultan's pituitary gland was damaged by a tumor of unknown origin when he was a child. This caused the gland to overproduce growth hormone, resulting in Sultan's 8-foot frame, a condition known as gigantism. For people with gigantism, even though the growth plates close at puberty, they continue to grow. This excessive growth affects both height and other parts of the body.
If growth hormone is still in excess state, the tips of the bones begin a horizontal enlargement, expansion occurs at that time. So that's why Sultan has both features of very tall stature and increased size of the limbs.
The expansion of parts of the anatomy caused by increased growth hormone after the growth plates have closed is known as acromegaly.
Do you see that in comparison with Sultan's hand, it's very, very small, as you see. Both the sizes of the fingers and the palm, you see this area of the palm. It's very great, it's very huge.
The excessive growth of the hands and feet causes embarrassment for Sultan, but it is not life-threatening. However, acromegaly not only affects the skeleton, it causes enlargement of the internal organs, and this is a deadly threat.
All the organs enlarge, in fact, because growth hormone affects all the organs, all the internal organs. The heart, the liver, tongue, whatever you think. For example, heart failure may occur at the end.
Sultan has had multiple operations in an attempt to try and remove the tumor that's causing his abnormal growth.
The tumors are often large and they invade areas that the surgeon cannot go into. And he's an example of that. He's had 3 operations. He's on 2 medicines now, and he's had the radiation treatment.
When Dr. Gerlek analyzed Sultan's blood tests, he discovered some disturbing news. Sultan's growth hormone levels remain dangerously high.
Unfortunately, despite both medical therapy and radiotherapy, he still has a growth hormone excess state right now. And now we are dealing with that problem. Çok geçmiş olsun.
Tabii yani çok endişeliyim yani bundan iki veya 2,5-3 ay önce gene Ankara'ya gittim. Doktor kan sonuçlarıma falan baktı dedi. Yani çok yüksek çıktığını söyledi, çok aşırı. Tek başıma şöyle ağladım yani.
Patients have been successfully treated for gigantism, including one man Sultan is desperate to meet. He is a man that has achieved what Sultan is yearning for. A man who understands the pressures of trying to be normal with the entire world staring up at you. This is the man Sultan wants to meet. At 52 years old, he stands 7 feet 8 inches tall. He works as a sheriff's deputy at Norfolk City Jail in Virginia, USA, and lives with his girlfriend nearby. His name is George Bell. He is one of America's tallest men. Before his law enforcement days, George held a basketball instead of a badge. He played for the Harlem Globetrotters and suffered from the same medical condition as Sultan.
When my diagnosis of gigantism, I was 18 years old. At that time, I was standing 7 feet 6 inches tall in high school.
Like Sultan's case, doctors discovered a tumor on George's pituitary gland that was causing excessive growth.
They told me if they had not performed the surgery, I would have died.
Doctors successfully removed the tumor from George's pituitary when he was 19, and radiation treatment prevented its return.
Believe it or not, when school started that following September, I was in school. Just took a couple of months.
George's case gives Sultan hope. He is leading the normal life that Sultan dreams of, with a regular job and a girlfriend. Sultan is going to see George to seek advice and encouragement. But before he leaves for the States to meet him, Sultan is heading to the Guinness World Record offices in London. Sultan is in the United Kingdom to attempt to set another world record and have his height remeasured by the Guinness World Records. His close friend Kelly Garrett is here to greet him and take him to the Guinness offices.
The fascinating thing for me about Sultan is he's so much taller than any of the recent claims we've had, and in fact only I think the 11th person in history to actually be authenticated to be over 8 foot.
The measurement to be taken won't be an official recording, but it will determine if Sultan's height has increased, since he broke the world record at 8 foot 1 inch tall.
Ideally, you would measure someone's height with an instrument called a stadiometer, which is a sliding wooden scale. But they don't make stadiometers big enough in this country. In fact, any country, I haven't seen the one big enough anywhere. So what we have to do is just mark Sultan's height on the wall. In theory, we do this 3 times a day, and then we take the average of the 6 measurements over the day. The theory is you get smaller and shorter as the day goes on because your spine compresses.
If Sultan has grown taller, there is a good chance that his last surgery to remove the tumor on his pituitary gland was not successful.
So here's the 8 foot mark here. So Sultan's maximum height on average was here. Well, it looks like almost 2 inches taller than we'd expected. I guess the measurement this morning, you may have been 8 foot 3, I would have guessed. So yeah, you're actually getting taller.
Although good for Sultan's record, this height increase is a concern. If the tumor causing excessive growth hormone in his brain was not removed as previously thought, then as well as getting taller, Sultan's internal organs will continue to grow, and this could eventually kill him.
Ve 27 yaşına kadar hep sorunlarıyla uğraştım. Yani artık ben de normal bir insan gibi sağlıklı yaşamak istiyorum.
Despite the bad news, Sultan is still willing to be measured for a brand new world record.
We often find with the tallest man category there are other associated records. So for example, the tallest man usually has the biggest hands, often has the biggest feet. We're going to try 2 records today with the hand. One is the span, which is a new record, which is the pinky to the thumb, and also the classic wrist to tip measurement. So Sultan, we know, already has the biggest hand in one direction. The question is, how big is he the other way? And has he got any bigger? You've got a few inches on me, so... Okay, I can feel you straining, that's it. That's exactly 1 foot, so 12 inches. I guess it's a 1 foot hand. So, congratulations.
As Sultan is the first person in the world to be measured by the Guinness World Records in this category, There's no existing measurement to beat.
It's a new Guinness World Record, well done.
He now holds both the widest and longest hand record in the world. But when Craig discovers that Sultan's hand length has increased, the news isn't as welcome.
You were 27.5 before, and now you're 29, so bigger.
Sultan's hands have grown 1.5 inches in just 9 months. This increase could be an indication that his pituitary tumor is still present and causing him to overproduce growth hormone.
O ilacı bana vermedi. Ondan dolayı yani büyüme hormonları çok yüksek çıkıyor.
So what he's saying is that the last time he went and met with the doctor actually said that his growth hormones were a high level, and he's tried giving him maybe higher doses of the medication to control it better.
The new measurements indicate that Sultan's growth suppression medicine isn't working. He'll need further medical tests to find out what is causing his continued growth. But while he's in London, a friend of Sultan's has arrived from Germany to visit. Hopefully, this surprise will take Sultan's mind off the realization that he may still have a life-threatening pituitary tumor.
I'm on my way to Sultan Kösen. I hope I will see him here in London, and I will bring him some gifts.
George Vessels is a bespoke shoemaker specializing in king-size shoes.
I make shoes for the tallest people in the world because I like these tall people.
He first met Sultan